Hi, Heather.
Hi, Krista.
Oh man, we've seen a lot of each other in the last few weeks. This always sort of happens this time of year because all of our
Yeah,
programs start to wrap up as you and I look forward to having a short break, a little vacation
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so we just finished our retreat week with our certified practitioners,
hmm
which is always such a treat because we get to experience um, their version of holding space and different
yeah,
offerings that they bring. So yeah, we spent, oh man, 8 hours with them over the course of 4 days,
yeah,
really getting into the weeds, as it were, and their holding space work, and it was just really delightful. And
yeah.
then, yeah, last or no, it was still this week. Yeah,
What is
Monday
it?
on my
Yeah.
birthday, we
hmm
had a call with a group, a certified practitioner group that had been together 2 years ago and that have
Yeah.
continued to meet since we wrapped up their program. And they
Yeah, and
invited
not
us
just
to,
continue to meet, but they have developed a really
yeah,
beautiful bond in their little
so good.
global circle of people. Yeah, it was really lovely.
So cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I mean, I always sort of marvel at the end of all of these at the kinds of people that come to our programs. And one of the things that you brought up in the reunion call earlier was your friend Steve Bell's song "Deep Calls to Deep" because it had come up for
Yeah.
you as we were talking. Um, Oh no, that was I'm getting my calls confused. That was with one of this year's certified practitioners that you brought that
Yeah,
up.
it originally came up, I think, yesterday when we were doing
Yeah.
a wrap-up call for their practicum, and then I brought it up again today. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Steve is a Christian singer, so that song he offered in the context of Christianity. I've sung it many times at church as a worship song, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful song.
It
But for
is.
you, it came up a little bit different, and I was
Yeah.
curious if you wanted to share a little bit about what was landing for you,
Yeah.
and why that's sort of reverberating around in our both of our heads lately.
Yeah, so I have a pretty long history with that song and with
Yeah.
Steve now, partly because there's a recording of it, and I'll share a link to it on YouTube, um, where he sang it. He and I and his wife and a little group of people were traveling in India and Bangladesh when I worked for a nonprofit at the time, and we did some recording of him playing the song to create this little music video. And so it's a song that's very, very familiar to me. And it is a song about, our souls longing for God and God longing for us. And for me, having done some deconstruction of my faith and reflecting on a somewhat different way of understanding God, I've sort of reinterpreted the song and a little bit or just attached my own meaning to it. And so this idea of deep calls to deep, it's humanity calling to each other too. Like and I think in many faith traditions we see God in us, like we
Mm.
are a representation or of God in humanity. And anyway, I won't go into. I'm not going to take this to on a theological bent. But I but what I feel in the song is this, like, my depth calls to your depth. And you and I talk a lot about we space. Like when we
Yeah.
are calling to each other's deep places, we are creating this really beautiful thing between us. It's almost the collective soul in a sense.
Right.
And I
Good
experience that.
band too.
What's that?
They're a good band, Collective Soul.
Collective soul. Yeah. I also
Sorry.
experience it when I'm outside in the woods, or I
Yeah.
just earlier today I went to sit by the water for a while, and I experience it there too, that the whales are calling to me, the trees are calling to me.
Yeah.
The depth of the web of life is calling to us to be present in a way that does, yeah, that connects our souls to each other. And I see that in the work that we do too. It's like when we gather in these circles to do our work, whether it's our certification program or our grounded guide program, We are all looking for the depth in each other so that we can be in this relational space that awakens our soul, awakens our humanity,
Mhm.
our vulnerability, our beauty. And it's just such like remarkable work to be in. Like it feels
Yeah.
so special and unique to be in deep work, and that's calling deep people to it.
Yeah.
And what you and I were just talking about is how, in some ways, how countercultural that is to be doing deep work because so much relies on us to remain shallow. And
Yeah.
when I say so much, it's capitalism, it's social media, it's all the places where we people are trying to make money off of us. Like they don't want us to do deep reflection work because then we're not going to rush out and buy the next shiny thing. So, social media is built in a capitalist world. So if we
Uh-huh.
stay shallow, if we only ever watch 3-minute videos and never go into any deeper things, then we're gonna stay at this level where we consume too much, where
Yeah.
like we let our greed drive us or
Mhm.
our empty parts of our soul drive us
Yeah.
into being consumers. So yeah, that's a bit of a ramble, but that's where my heart is like, how do we stay in the depths
Yeah.
so that we are actually present in the world in a way that heals the world and does not continue on this self-destructive path that we seem to be intent on being on,
Mhm.
that recognizes the interwoven way that we are in kinship relationships with the natural world. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. What does that bring up for you? You jump in.
Yeah, it's oh my goodness. It's bringing up a lot. I'm currently listening to a book by an author named Caitlin Curtis, and it's called Living Resistance. And one of the things she said that's coming up for me as you're speaking is that she had a revelation for herself. She was doing the dishes and she was like listening to music or something like that. And she stopped herself at one point and she's like, why can't I do this in silence? Like, why can't I just do this task and just be here with myself and experience myself? And her revelation was she was like, I'm not sure I would like myself very much if I let myself go that deep. And I wonder if that's what we struggle with sometimes with avoiding the depth because we may be worried a little bit that if we let ourselves go that deep that we won't necessarily like ourselves very much
Yeah.
and that's and that kind of made me stop and go oh shit yeah I know I struggle with that sometimes like even a few weeks ago when I was sort of wrestling with some stuff that had come up for me like I could feel myself just wanting to avoid it and run away from it. And later in the week, I was at my Muay Thai class, and I was sparring with my kid who's bigger than me and stronger than me. And the instructor kept going, "You got to lean into his kick." And I'm like, "It's scary. Like it's hard. Like my instinct is to pull away.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
fight or flight is like, run. What are you doing?" And it occurred to me that, like our nervous systems aren't particularly clever. They don't know the difference between being kicked and facing like a scary emotion. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, yeah, like my instinct is to run. And going deep,
Yeah.
facing that depth can bring that reactivity up, right? And so, yeah, if I can self-soothe by ignoring it, by scrolling mindlessly, by keeping, music in my ears all the time, then yeah, then it's easier for someone to come in and go, "Oh, well, here's a quick fix for you, by the way." Like,
Yeah.
here's a funny thing, and if you stay and watch, then I'll make money off of it or whatever, right? Um, but yeah, we had a couple of sessions this week where we were you know, pushed to think about things at a deeper level. And it's like, no, you got to sit with this, but it's
Yeah.
okay to do that because we're here together and you're not going to die. It's okay to lean into it. You got to lean into it, lean into the kick.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And
a little off topic, but that's sort of what was
no,
coming up for me a little bit.
it, what comes up for me as I listen to you talk is people like Francis Weller, who does a lot
Yeah.
of grief work and really, really insists on if you aren't willing to do the grief work, if you can't, if you resist meeting your grief and being in the grief and creating ceremonies around grief, you're going to short circuit your capacity for development. You're going to get blocked and get stuck. And that's scary. Like if you tell me that I have to meet my grief, that feels like
Yeah.
teaching. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to eat candy. Like,
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean
I
lean into this?
exactly. Why? It feels
That's
antithetical
insane.
yeah. And yet it's it's real. And I think about, for example,
Yeah.
when I moved away from Manitoba, I thought I was leaving the province and I knew that it would bring up grief for me. So I very intentionally
Yeah.
met the grief and I did this little tour where I
Yeah.
drove out to the places that I would be leaving and my childhood home, the town I grew up in, the little park where I used to play baseball in
Yeah.
and several sites that meant something to me in the province. And I did kind of a little ceremony. I created a little
Yeah.
altar with stones at these places. And I just let myself be in that grief of leaving that behind for a day. And it was really meaningful to me and still is meaningful to me.
Hmm.
And I think, how often do we do that? Do we actually intentionally
Yeah.
meet the grief and meet and step into it instead of just trying to bypass it? And in the work that we do, we talk a lot about liminal space and
Yeah.
how we have to be willing to go into the liminality in order to be transformed by it. But the temptation is always to bypass it. It's like, no, I'm going to do
Always.
what makes me feel happy. I'm going to stay in the like the happiness quest rather than actually feel what this feels like. And yeah, it
Well,
is
and it's sometimes not even the happiness quest is like a numbness quest, you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there are many, many people that are going to try to make money out of our numbness quest. You know, like they'll sell us any amount of things
Yeah.
to keep us in those shallow
Anything.
spaces, and we'll go out and buy them
Yeah.
because we need the dopamine hit, we need the like whatever, we need something to
Yeah.
keep us feeling like we're like yeah, alive or stable or whatever.
Totally. Totally. Totally, totally. And I know I'm prone to it myself, and it's why I appreciate being able to participate, in the work that we do, because it's like, okay, I know there's a space where I can do this as perfectly or imperfectly as I show up that particular day. Um, with other people who are also in their own stuff. And we all of us come with very different things, unique things, and yet it's all the same. You know what I mean? Like it's all so
Yeah.
shared, such a human experience.
And that's the beauty of it that we miss is that when we do go to deep places, like the capacity for connection in those spaces
Yes.
was like
Yeah.
nothing else you'll experience. Like
Yeah.
the relational spaces where we're willing to shed some tears, go deep, reveal our humanity, be vulnerable and broken and fumbling. That's when we
Yeah.
connect. Those are the connecting
Totally.
points. And
Totally.
that's the crack through which the light can be seen, or you know,
Totally.
any number of those beautiful poetic words.
Yeah,
It's
and it's really hard to build a really shallow, flashy brand around because, yeah,
exactly. That's
it
why we
it
don't
doesn't.
play so well on social media because
No,
it's not yeah, it's not
and I
built for
think
that
we're
kind of thing.
becoming more and more proud of that as the
Yeah.
years go on.
And if you've gotten to
Anyway,
this point of the video, whoever is watching this,
kudos.
then we can tell,
Look
you
at
know,
you.
bonus points for you because you're staying with
Bonus
us for the
points. That's
longer
right.
version of the conversation.
That's right. Absolutely. And if you
Yeah.
would like to be in some more spaces with us, we have so much coming up and going on. We've got you going to Europe. You're going to do some
Yeah.
in-person stuff there, which is super exciting. Whale Song is coming up, which is going to be an absolute delight to be a part of. 10
Yeah.
weeks of, you know, we're just going to, yeah, it's like the anti-AI program. We're all
Yeah,
just going
pretty
to
much.
sit and be creative. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Um, you can sign up for next year's Holding Space Foundation Program cohort if you're interested in learning more about holding space. Become a Grounded Guide is still going on. We're going to do module 3 starting in August. And that's going to be really great. So yeah,
Yeah.
tons of stuff, ways to connect with us. Um, when you join us, you were, yeah, not just supporting Heather and I, which is, I mean, obvious, but I hope anyway, you're supporting work that is trying to connect humans to their humanity in
Exactly.
meaningful ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our hope anyway. So lots
Yeah.
of good things to check out. Heather will put all the links in all the places. Check out our website. Um, there's no AI
Come into
there
the
yet.
depths, dive into the deep end of
Yeah,
the
dive
pool with
in.
us.
Yeah. We promise there's some life rafts, there's some floaties. We
Yeah,
got arm
we'll hold each other
floaties.
up.
Yeah. You don't have to be a good free diver right off the hop. We'll
No.
work our way up.
Yeah.
Okay, we've rambled enough. Thanks, Heather.